According to Ancestry.com, we all have a storyteller inside us. Will telling and sharing those stories be easier with their new storytelling tool? Today, let's find out. Welcome to Write Your Family History. My name is Devon Noel Lee, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to this channel on your way in and click the thumbs up if I give you value during this video. In 2022, Ancestry rolled out 2 features on their mobile app to help you better tell stories. On my main channel, Family History Fanatics, I covered the photo scanning features, including auto crop and image enhancements. The second feature was the ability to create Instagram-style stories to quickly create shareable stories for us to use within the Ancestry app or to share on social media. I have known about this feature for some time and felt the app needed more functionality before I could share it on this channel. At Roots Tech 2023, I discussed the app with Ancestry product managers. They advised me I needed to update my app to the latest version. Apparently, they added some of the functionality issues that I had problems with, and now it's time for me to review the app. Just so you know, I had to uninstall the Ancestry mobile app and reinstall it. Then, moments before this video went live, I received an in-app prompt to update it again. So now I have the latest version installed and I'm ready for this review. But before you take advantage of the Storymaker Studio, you have to do a few things. First, you need an Ancestry account. If you don't have one, create a free Ancestry account. Then you need to create a family tree with at least 2 generations, and that can be done in the free and the paid versions. Then you need to upload clear portrait photos from at least 2 generations, and that will trigger one of the features I'm going to show you later on. And finally, you need to assign a home person in your tree. Now, you can accomplish those tasks using a laptop, tablet, or phone browser via Ancestry.com's website. If you're using the website version of Ancestry, you can access the Storymaker Studio. Click on the Tree tabs and select a family tree. In the top left corner of your tree, click the Tree Name menu. Scroll down to the Storymaker Studio. In this view, you can create photo lines, write stories, or access your media gallery. Click on Write a Story, and you can see this screen to help you write a story either by typing it into the website, or you can upload a file from your computer and Ancestry will walk you through the entire process. While this is great, it doesn't have all the functionality of the app. Many of the features of the Storymaker Studio may migrate to the browser, but for now, we really need to switch gears and focus on the app. If you haven't already downloaded the Ancestry app, visit the appropriate app store for your device and install the app. Once you've opened the app, and I'm using the Android version, there is also the Apple version. This screen is full of interesting items such as your daily pics, which can give you ancestral birthdays, photo collages we'll come back to, and many other daily prompts for tasks you can do on the platform. There are also training videos that you can watch while you're on the go to learn more about how to use Ancestry and do the various research steps. But today we really want to focus on the Storymaker Studio, so make sure you navigate all the way to the top and click on the green Explore button. Now, the first cool feature is to create photo lines. I think they really like lines on Ancestry, through lines, photo lines. So click on photo lines. And Ancestry will prompt you to assign a home person in your tree if you haven't done this before. I've already done this, so I can go ahead and proceed to the next step. Ancestry loads several collages, styles with different people from your family. If you've already uploaded yourself or a photo of the home person, they'll already be here. If that home person was complete, you can just click on the prompts and customize the tool, or we're going to go ahead and click complete collage and walk you through the process of telling a photo story. So let's complete this collage. I need to add a photo, so I'm going to click add photo. If prompted, allow Ancestry to access your camera to take photos and record video. And then the second prompt will be photos, videos, music, and audio on this device. If you've already granted that privilege, you will be taken to this screen and you can either take a photo or you can upload a photo. So if I take a photo, it's actually going to take a picture of my monitor. We don't want that. So we're going to go back. We're going to repeat that process and we're going to upload a picture from my device. Take a picture from my device. I have this picture in my screenshots folder, and then Ancestry will begin the process of uploading that picture. Similar to the scanning features we talked about in the previous video that will be linked in the description box below, there are a number of things you can do. You could rotate your picture if you need to. You can flip it if it's going the wrong direction. You can also come over here and colorize the photo, but it's already colorized, so I don't need to do that. You can sharpen the photo. That takes just a moment or two, depending on the size of the image. Looks like it makes it a little sharper. Sometimes if you have blurry photos, this is helpful. And then there are some other features, like I can put some filters on. Maybe I want to have this black and white version or a high contrast one. But I really like the version I had at the beginning, so I'm just going to let that go. Once your photo is ready, click Next. And now Ancestry is really trying to get us to add metadata to our images. So we're going to go ahead and add the metadata. So I gave it a title, my name, I gave it a date. It was taken in Texas. So in Humble, Texas, around 2019, I can get more specific. And then I added a description. In this case, this was my biography photo for the website Family History Fanatics. Now I do have an option to decide whether I want this to be the primary photo for the profile that has me in it. If you haven't uploaded any pictures of someone before, this actually could be very useful. I'm going to go ahead and say no thank you, and I'm going to keep going. Click Save. And now I have this photo, and if I click on it, it will be added to the PhotoLines options. Now, let's say I don't want this random document. I'd rather have a picture. So I can customize any of those photo spots with a picture that is in the family tree. But they're trying to do Mary Claybaugh and Emma Townsend and then my mom and then me. And unfortunately, I don't have a picture of Mary Claybaugh, so that's the best I can do. So I have two options. I can share this image using my Google Drive, my voice message, or save it to my Google Photos or any other system that you have for saving media on your device. You can create a story, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Or I want to delete that story. I can save to the media gallery. When I save this to my media gallery, that picture will show up in my gallery for Devon and for Penny and for Emma and for Mary, and others will be able to see that in their gallery as well, as long as I have a public tree. I really like photo collages. This feature is a fun way to engage younger audiences on social media. I haven't figured out yet. We can all try this feature out and see what happens. But can you print this out as a picture? Send it off to a print development company and have it as a picture? Can you put it in a scrapbook? Could you put it in some high quality image format, or is it just a social media thing? I haven't figured that answer yet. If you know the answer, let me know in the comments below. Anytime you want to add media using the Ancestry app, you can click on Add Media and you'll have several options. Scanning photos was already covered in the video that I will link in the description box, and it's over on my other channel. You can take a photo. We already talked about that as we uploaded from my camera roll my picture of myself in order to do that photo line. We can also record audio. So click on Record Audio. You need to give permission, and then you can start recording a story. It's pretty simple. And then when you're done, you can finish it, you can resume it, or you just can back out of it. And I want to discard that, obviously. Pretty easy to record it. I do like that Ancestry has added the recording audio feature because it will come in handy when you're visiting relatives and talking about stories. You can just pull up your phone, open up your Ancestry app, navigate to Storymaker Studio, and then click record a audio story. Now, this next feature is currently only available on the app, not on the browser. So when you click on stories, you're going to make an Instagram or Facebook story style slideshow. So click on it, and then Ancestry will give you a number of prompts. You can make any of these community style story prompts. It may have a suggestion, such as the birth story for Clementine or the birth story for Louise. Or you can choose a family member and make a story for them. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and do the birth story for Louise. Click on that. So as you can see, Ancestry has developed a couple of little slides that might help you tell your ancestor's story. So we can edit any slide. We're going to click edit. We can change the color of it. I want to change it to maybe a pink. And then we can change the title. Let's say on this day in history. And notice that the location is kind of messed up. Let's go ahead and take out the county. Type in USA. Now it just says Columbus, Ohio, USA. It's a little bit simplified. But we could change the icon. That's kind of nice. Maybe a heart, a wedding, a leaf. Military service, that's kind of nice. A story. We're just going to go back to that icon. That's kind of nice right there. You can't change the person. That's not going to let you change the person. That is going to have to stay there. So when we're done, we can go ahead. And I tried to click save, but the cancel was the one that worked. All right, so now I'm going to go to the next slide. Click on here, and here's a picture of Louise, all grown up, her life dates, and her relationship to the person creating the story, which would be me. So I can actually stay a few words. So in this case, I wrote the story. Louise was born Marie Anderson. Unfortunately, her biological mother died the day after her birth. She was then adopted and renamed Louise. But once again, we could, change the color. Maybe this time I want to have it be a peach. Or maybe a rose color. I like that better. If I wanted to add a different photo, I could do that, and it will pull pictures from my gallery. And then I can click save when I'm done. And finally, we have the location. If we wanted to edit that, we could as well. If there's any other event details we want to put, the only thing we can do is just change the text in that event details location. Now, if we didn't want that slide, we can click delete. And now we have two stories. On this day in history, Louise Eleanor Long, here's the story. And we have two options. We can download it, and this will save that to your device. Or we can hit play just to kind of see how it would act. There isn't a way to change how long the slides are shown. That is maybe frustrating for some, or maybe it's just the right length. You could add other slides to your story at any time. By clicking the plus button, you can add another title slide. It would look like this, add a title. I don't want that, so I'm going to delete it. Yes, I want to delete that slide. Or I can do another person slide. So maybe I want to now feature Laura, her mother that adopted her. So we could do a person. Now this has her birth mother. So I could choose her birth mother. And this is the family tree, her biological family tree. But if I can't find the name I want, I can do a search. But unfortunately, this tree is the DNA tree, so I don't have her adopted mother in this tree. So I would actually have to switch to the correct tree that I have on Ancestry. And yes, I'm one of those crazy people that have more than one tree online. So keep that in mind. If you're creating your stories, you need to make sure you're in the chosen tree you want to work on. Other than Laura, we're not going to do her adopted, we'll go and choose Agnes, her biological mother. It's the wife. Unfortunately, she wasn't a wife. I don't like that. She created life with Delbert, and that life was my grandmother. But you can't change that, so that's actually problematic. I don't think I would actually add that, but I could add a story here if I wanted. So I'm actually not going to add that profile. I'll hit canceled. A couple other options. You can add another photo. You can choose a record. Maybe you want to go and find any of the records that are attached to her. If I happen to have her birth certificate or her adoption records, If they are in the source list, then I can add it from there. If the pictures are just in the media gallery, I have to use a photo rather than a record. Let's just pretend, for the sake of fun, that it was the 1940 census. Name this record. Well, it says 1940 census, so I don't know what else you want to name it other than in the Long household, maybe? But she wasn't in the Long household. She was actually living with her sister. And you can't really add very much details. I just tried to say living with her sister because her adopted parents were deceased, and I can't really add that there. So we can click save, and now there is a record after her birth. And then I would have to do another slide, maybe make it a text slide, because her adopted parents were also deceased. Click save. Maybe make that a little prettier. And I think that's all there's an event. So then we could do an event. Here are all the events in her life. Here's that adoption with the probate and the images from the probate. That's pretty cool. So we can go ahead and choose that. And it says, all right, in the probate court in Columbus on this date, she was adopted, and we can click save. So now I have location, and then I have a follow-up picture about the adoption. This is an entire story, and I can click done. And it will save that new story to my profile. So finally, you get to the publish screen. You can save this to your tree, or you can publish it. Now, Ancestry will tell you who will be able to see this tree. And I like that it tells you some people online that can also see your tree, so you can see more about them. They're public tree, they like your tree, they're following your tree, so they may be able to see what you add. So that's kind of a nice feature that they have. When you hit publish, this story will go on to Louise's profile page, her life story page. Here's the story, and here's another one that I tried to make, and they'll be there on her profiles permanently. And when other people visit her profile in the app, they'll be able to see these stories that I've created as well. And then you'll see the little circle of who created that story. So that is a neat feature of the Storymaker. There are a couple of things that while you're using the app, it's a little bit frustrating. So when you want to add a record, there's no way to zoom in to make sure you're selecting the right story image. That's probably a bug in the program. I'm not sure. I hope that gets fixed. The other problem I had was, let's say while you're making a story, you want to save it as a draft because you need to go do one of the millions of things that you have to do with your life. While you're trying to do genealogy, something comes up. I haven't found where you can save a draft of your story and come back and edit it later before you can publish it. So that can be a little bit of a problem. Now that I shared two of my criticisms of the app so far, what is my overall review? Will Ancestry Storymaker Studio make telling stories easier? And the question depends on how you define family stories. Additionally, who is the target audience for your stories? Ancestry does link the stories you make to your ancestors' profile, just like I showed. I haven't seen the stories appear on the website version of Ancestry, only on the app. And I've heard from the product developers the stories on the website will be coming later. The fact that this feature is heavily integrated into the app and often meant to be shared on social media, but they're not an exactly easy button to share. You have to download and then open your social media apps, and then you can share your story out like that. PhotoLines are easy to shareable. There was an option to share. I forgot to show that to you earlier, but you can click share after you create it and send it to social media. And that does make the process easier. But when you have to create the stories and download it and upload it to social media, that makes it kind of difficult. And I don't know how many people want to be bothered with that step. You're going to have to tell me in the comments what you think. However, if you are trying to reach your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and they heavily use social media, particularly Instagram and Facebook, this could be a fun tool to try out. But the short version, my 30-second takeaway of the Storymaker Studio app is it has a lot of tools for capturing and preserving photos and memories. There are tools to add metadata to the content that you've already added to your family tree and giving you prompts on how to add that and make sure that's all robust and up to date. Telling your family stories on social media using Content Your Family Tree is made a little easier with this tool, but the feature does need a few more tweaks to make it super user-friendly. Now it's mildly user-friendly. But recognize the feature is really about social media sharing, not necessarily about writing stories. So if you're new to this channel, I hope that you will visit the channel page and you will come to the step-by-step process to taking your stories from draft all the way through publishing and sharing your stories. And then there's also a little motivation for when you get stuck or when you need help getting started. If you're interested in learning how to tell family stories with more depth, I want you to check out this first playlist of writing draft. And on your way out, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and leave comments to tell me what you liked or disliked about Storymaker Studio.